So I'm going to ask my top and senior and most beloved mentor, Claudia, to come with me. She's fantastic. I've known her for years, and in the last almost year now, we're working together with this, and I've seen a transformation in her that it's, I think, only her dad could say, right? Well, you knew her. How do you see her now?
That's great.
He asked how he recognized me tonight.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead and you take it over for now.
So thank you, Eduardo. So we're going to talk about this heart-brain connection, this first part of the technique. But before we do that, I want to tell you a little bit about why I'm standing here. So let's go back to last October. Now, I've known Eduardo for over 7 years. He's like a brother to me, and we've just known each other through different businesses, and he's just a wonderful person. And he's also a very intuitive person. He's the kind of person that when you see him, you just instantly feel high energy. Last October, I was just not feeling so good. I was feeling kind of depressed and frustrated. My financial situation was not going well in my business. My relationship, anybody with communication issues in their relationship, you know how challenging that can be when your partner and you were just not really connecting and hearing each other. And I honestly had been practicing, you know, different methods, using, you know, affirmations and, you know, walking on coals with Tony Robbins and going to other motivational, you know, very expensive seminars. And unfortunately, you know, you feel great and come out, you're going to conquer the world, right? But what happens? A couple weeks later, back down you go, because you're going back to the world that you created, like we talked about, where the subconscious mind is broadcasting things that you're not even aware of, but they're there. I understand this now, but at the time, I was getting very despondent because it's not like I was sitting around eating bonbons and cookie dough. I was actually doing the work and doing these affirmations, and I got to a point where it was painful. I said, this doesn't work. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. The phone rings. It said, Eduardo, honey, how are you? Now, I'm not going to tell him, well, I feel like slitting my wrists right now. I'm not doing that great. So I was like, I'm good, I'm good. He's like, what are you doing this weekend? I said, well, I'm busy this weekend. Well, what are you doing Monday? I want you to come see what I'm doing. I'm doing something amazing. Please come, I'd love to gift you a session. And what he gifted to me was an earlier version of this incredible method. And I went to this session, and I had, you know, I'm very open to all kinds of work. I've done a lot of different work, a lot of different healings on myself. Within maybe 5 minutes, he had tapped into some trauma that was related to my mom passing away unexpectedly several years before, that I had no idea I was still carrying. The guilt, the regret, all of those things. And I mean, you know, everything going weak and, you know, just testing through my auras. And it was honestly a very awakening moment for me. And it just lifted so much out of me. And by the time I left this session and I saw my boyfriend that night, he was like, what happened? You look totally different. It was like a weight had been lifted off of me. That's how much one session changed me, things that I didn't know. And honestly, since that point, I've never been sad thinking about my mom again. I've been able to actually smile. This past Mother's Day was the first Mother's Day that I could actually enjoy without feeling like I wanted to just hide. So that's the power of what he did for me. Now, he also said, why don't you maybe come to one of my trainings? I'm looking for people like you who want to share this method. And I knew through some of my beautiful friends that I wanted to go into some form of coaching. But I was stuck, so I went a couple weeks later to a training. There were a lot of very gifted healers, agape ministers, highly paid motivational speakers. But at the end of the day, who committed to stay and say, I want to do this work? And every single day I started practicing it, sometimes multiple times a day, getting certified with Eduardo, doing trainings and sessions on friends while I was training. And honestly, in 90 days, I just didn't recognize myself in the best way, because the things that were changing in my financial field, that were changing my relationship overnight, and things that were just so specific that were manifesting that I can share with you after the meeting, it was just tremendous. So we've been working together because it was really, when you see that something makes such a difference for you and everybody in my life was noticing that difference, I wanted to go out with him and share it with the world. So I'm going to need a volunteer for the first part of the method. Orly, okay, I love it. See, in LA they're a little more timid, and I'm a New Yorker, so I love that young people come up. So I'm just gonna explain with Orly up here and demonstrate a little bit when we're talking about this heart-brain connection in the energetic healing technique. We have a chi spot, and it's above your heart between the second and third rib. So if everybody wants to kind of push above the second and third rib, this is the soft spot called chi spot between the heart and the brain. Now in this technique that we're going to do, we're going to be rubbing this spot in a clockwise direction, and you will know that you're on it because it's going to be a little tender. And if you need some help, I don't mind coming and pushing for you, or Eduardo can help you. Okay, and so what we're going to do in this spot is a combination of a little bit of EFT, people are familiar with, nonviolent communication, and there's some yoga principles in terms of the breathing. And if we think about cords that tie us, remember I was telling you how I was feeling, you know, depressed, frustrated, identifying emotions. Would you like a method and a way that every day you could temporarily at least disconnect 80 to 90% of those emotional cords and that baggage? Yes. Well, you're gonna experience it now through Orly, and then we're all gonna do it. So what we're going to do, just I'm gonna explain, so you're all gonna do it along with her when I do it, is we're going to rub it in a clockwise direction. We're going to use an affirmation. Eduardo, do you wanna put the slide up for the affirmation? Okay, and I'm going to identify for you first through some muscle testing. I would like to just talk to your body for a second.
She put the Genie Code.
Oh, we have to take the, yes, sorry. We gotta take that
had
out.
a session today.
She only
so
did one
she-
session, but still,
Yeah.
no cheating in here. Okay,
Super powerful.
perfect.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk to her body for a second. So just resist when I press, okay? Resist. Would you say yes for me?
Yes.
Okay, would you say no?
No.
Okay, would you say your name?
Orly.
Okay. Would you say I'm Steve?
I'm Steve.
Okay, she's not my dad, that's good. Now, just think about something, Orly, that brings you just great joy in your life, whatever that is, okay? Do you see how she's very strong when I'm pressing? Now, I want you to think about something that's maybe distressing to you or challenging to you in your life right now. Just think about it for a second. You guys see that? So just think about it again. I'm actually going to measure it a little bit. So when Orly thinks about what she's thinking about, I'm asking her body, is it 50% or higher? No, 40%, 30%. It stopped at about 32%, which means about 78% of her energy is drained just when that thought hits her brain. Does that sound about right with what it is? Does everybody understand that? So imagine what's happening when you're walking around the world. How powerful can you be, even if you're using affirmations? Even if you're trying to meditate and get quiet, when all that junk from your negative tank is hitting your brain. So, Orly, if you would, I would like to write down just some of the emotions and things that might be in your space. So things like I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I'm stressed. You don't have to say what the issue is.
Anxiety.
Okay, so your anxiety, anxious,
Frustrated.
frustrated.
Somewhat disappointed. What?
If there is, I want to clear as much as I can for you, so. Pile it on, it's okay.
No, it's okay. Sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just even those emotions, anxiety, frustration, disappointment, sadness, I mean, isn't any, just even one of those hard enough? So what we're gonna do in this technique is we're going to use an affirmation that's going to give empathy to the self. So it's scientific in terms of the chi spot and this being a point of physical release, and using the EFT and the nonviolent communication, so everybody understands that. But we're going to use an affirmation. I truly love and appreciate myself, even though I feel anxious, even though I feel sad, even though I feel frustrated. And what we're really saying is I truly love and appreciate my higher self, even though my lower self isn't feeling so good. And really, this is very powerful because we're really not supposed to admit how we're feeling. Just like when Eduardo called me, I didn't want to tell him how despondent I was, because that's hard to share that with people. So this is a way every day to really address it and let go of it temporarily. Now, when we do this, clockwise direction, you're going to close your eyes. We're going to go through each emotion twice. You guys can say it along with us. And at the end, what you're going to do, I know you have the sessions, you're going to tense everything and then double exhale and just completely relax and let everything go. We're going to do that 3 times. Okay? All right, so everybody ready? I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
With all my problems and limitations.
With all my problems and limitations.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
With all my problems and limitations.
With all my problems and limitations.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
Even when I feel anxious.
Even when I feel anxious.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
Even when I feel anxious.
Even when I feel anxious.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
Even when I feel frustrated.
Even when I feel frustrated.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
Even when I feel frustrated.
Even when I feel frustrated.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
Even when I feel disappointed.
Even when I feel disappointed.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
Even when I feel disappointed.
Even when I feel disappointed.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
Even when I feel sad.
Even when I feel sad.
I truly love and appreciate
I
myself.
truly love and appreciate myself.
Even when I feel sad.
Even when I feel sad.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I truly love and appreciate myself.
I'm doing the best I can.
I'm doing the best I can.
I truly love and appreciate
I
myself.
truly love and appreciate myself.
I'm doing the best I
I'm
can.
doing the best I can.
So orally, you're gonna now make those fists. Inhale deep. Double exhale. Let it go. Again. And one more time. I want you to just keep your eyes closed and just focus on the point between the brows, the third eye. Just focus on those feelings of peace and relaxation. When you're ready, you can take a deep breath. And open your eyes. I'm going to describe how that feels.
Peaceful.
Do you guys even see it in her face?
Is that correct?
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. A lot of times you'll do this and the emotions will come through and it's good. Let it out. In fact, the first time when I was doing a practice session, I made one of my best friends actually throw up because she was holding on to her dad's suicide and guilt about it. I mean, that's how much she was blocked. So the more that you let go, that's beautiful. So now, let's just go back and just think about the same stuff again. Think about that situation. You guys see how strong? I mean, I'm pushing even harder. Thank you. So the good news is that she feels this way, okay? But what will happen, as you guys understand from what Eduardo shared, is that she will go back to the world she created and those cords will attach again and then you just continue to vibrate and that's what gets difficult. Because I think everybody in this room probably has a lot of experience with different work, but the difference is to hold on to it. You can do this and this is amazing. And if you leave here tonight just doing that, it's already a great gift. But the Genie is what really helps you hold it, and for that I'm so grateful to Eduardo. It's priceless. It's changed my life. So thank you, Eduardo, and bring him back up. Because we're each going to now do, you want us all to do it, everybody to do their individual.
Yeah. So let's, thank you, Claudia.
You put little notebooks.
So you got a little notebook, right? So write down whatever emotions you, try to think about a situation that happened yesterday, a few days ago, or today, something is ongoing in your life. And really think about what are the emotions that I'm feeling about it. There's no judging here. Just try to become aware of what are these lower frequencies that are hitting your brain. Frustration, anger, sense of loneliness, unloved, whatever that is.
Can it be like a fight you had with somebody?
Oh, it'd be perfect, yeah, yeah.
Anger.
Yeah, anger, misunderstood, unheard, all those stuff, yes. Whatever is present, but it's more present in life. But most of the time we live that way, we block it, we deny it, we push it aside. I can make it through the day, no problem, I feel really bad, I can make it. But the fact is that it's taking so much power from us. And then if we keep it that way, eventually it begins to affect us, psychologically and physically. So, you all make your list? Need more time? Need more paper? No, okay, okay.
That's why we gave you a whole notebook, not just one sheet.
Yeah. Ma'am, do you have paper? Here.
No. I was gonna write on there. Yeah, thank you.
So when you write it down, and for this it's very good to use white paper and blue ink. It's something to do with the brain. It's a lot more powerful. Just by writing it down, you get it out of your system when it's on paper. You write it as the first step of getting control of it. Now we're going to do the technique. We put our hands on this place that you all know already. And rotating clockwise. Clockwise is important because it activates the right side of the brain, which is the forgiving, the creative, the loving side of the brain. When we are very judgmental, very worried, this part of the brain is active. So we want to switch it to this, so that by doing this, we go right into this part of the brain. So we're going to say, I truly love and appreciate myself, even though I feel, and then you take the emotion that you wrote. Say it twice. Now, you have to say it enough that you hear yourself. You don't have to have, the fellows across the street hear it. But just enough that you said. So I would say, I truly love and appreciate myself, even though I feel. It's something to do with what you say and what you hear you say. Okay? So let's just go twice through each emotion, each one looking at its own rest. And at the end, we will inhale, tense the whole body, and with double exhalation, okay? We'll do it 3 times, and we'll stay there quiet. So let's just start. I truly love and appreciate myself. I truly love and appreciate myself. Whenever you're ready, yes. Inhale, tense, and exhale, double exhalation, relax. Whenever you're ready. At the end, you're going to just keep your eyes closed. Concentrate on the point between the eyebrows and enjoy that peaceful sensation, which is freedom from the negative charge of the lower frequencies to your brain. feel? Anyone? So any lights or was it tunnel or just felt peaceful?
Lighter.
Lighter. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Feel like you released it. It is something you can do every day as many times as you want. Even before you're going into a meeting. You go into a meeting and there's a little tension there or you're uncertain.
So I just wanted to share a little about that because it's really interesting to me. I mean, when I met Eduardo, I was traveling. I didn't have a chance to do the method, and I got the Genie right away because I had a session with him, and I had like with Claudia had the same story. Like it was a wow. But I came back and I wasn't doing this method. I wasn't doing it. And it's really interesting because then I said, you're home and you really should be doing this because you have all this. And then I realized that, this doesn't keep you there unless you clear out every day. And the truth is, like for my past, I had a lot of trauma in my life. And so, it's like every day as a healer, as a person that works with people to, the same way I'm looking for it, I realized that, like, every day I would say, well, I'm choosing to have a happier life. Oh, I'm choosing to be happy today. I'm choosing to be whatever. But then I realized that, there were things like he's talking about that you're not conscious of that were, like, kind of going on. So once I took the time and actually sat in the morning and I just took that short moment just to say, oh, yeah, like, I feel a little anxious, or I feel like this, or I feel like a little disappointed about this, or whatever that situation was. It was like it was like, that's the thing that I realized, which is the difference from the work, all the other work, because the other work is like kind of like, you want to be somewhere, and you consciously, you're going, yeah, I'm going for that, I'm going to say, I'm a millionaire, I'm with this, I'm with that, and if it's not showing up, it's really because when you tap in, like on this thing has changed everything. It's just like getting there. It's like going, okay, fine. It's like so beautiful. It's such a fast way to disconnect from that. And then you walk down the street. You live in New York, okay? You live in people are rude or whatever. It's just different. It's just different. Like in the past, I'd be walking down the street and have a conversation, and I could go, I really don't want to get into that. I don't want to do that. I want to stay where I'm at. I want to stay here. So people would say to me, and they go, oh, you look a little different. What's different about you? I just did the method. I just did the method every day. So like this keeps you there. But you gotta do the method because otherwise there's all these, you have life. Somebody calls you up on the phone yelling at you, or somebody's on the street and almost runs you over. You have feelings and stuff like that, so you have to really clear on all those levels. And so this practice is simple. But it makes everything else you do work.
Yes. Thank you, Harold. Thank you very much. Yeah, it is. It's simple. I've been doing it with my clients for 15 years. I've been doing it myself for 15 years. It's the most powerful tool. This simple little thing that will take you 30 seconds to do. You're driving the street, well, maybe you don't drive here in California. You're driving, someone cuts in front of you, like, nah. That's, okay. Take a breath. Like, what am I feeling? Angry, abuse, whatever it is. I just go like this, it's gone. I'm back on my power. Otherwise, I keep broadcasting that, and then that's going to just take my frequency lower and lower. So, yeah, simple. You can use the rest of your life. This is a gift for you, and it works. It works. It works. I mean, I've seen people that have phobias of altitudes. I was with this lady one time in Ecuador, and we were going through this cable thing across this huge canyon, and security is not as good as in some other places. So you go into this cart, and she says, "There's no way I'm getting into that thing. Impossible." And she says, "Come. Step here." Well, she was feeling that, says, "Just do this. I truly love and actually, even though I'm afraid, even though I'm scared, even though I am terrified of this, breathe." Just like that. The impossible, I'll never do it to, well, I can do this. She's just disconnected that.
Some people have certain stubbornness.
What?
A certain stubbornness.
Yes.
They need more than just a touch and this.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're
What do you see? Yeah.
yeah, this is just one little part of the method, so we're gonna see that, yeah. There's other techniques that depends on the person. Persons who are very mental, who live in their minds a lot, all the time. And you know, maybe some here in New York that way. So they may not get to that point. There's just not, they can't connect to their feelings. So there's another technique, and I haven't really taught it before, but I'm gonna share something that I use with it. Simply have them write down what are their anxieties, what are they concerned about, what are they challenged at. They learned it. I'm challenged with this, I'm anxious about this, or I'm whatever it is, write them down. And then they can just go like this with their hands. I choose to release these. I choose to release anxiety, I choose to release this concern, I choose to release that. Then they can just sit there and breathe deeply, inhale deeply through the nose. So to the count of 6 or 10, hold it to the same count, and exhale to the same count. Out of the mouth, visualizing this light coming into the brain and releasing. 6 times. 6 times, just they're moving energy now. And then after the 6th time, they can do exactly and relax. That will do it. For mental people, that works pretty good. This is faster, easier. It will get you deeper place. But if somebody can't get down here, then that will help. Okay, then we go to the next part, which will also take that. So doing this, it disconnects the lower frequencies that are hitting your brain. If you don't do anything, as Claudia said, it will come back to you. But, so what we're going to do the next thing is, and this is the key between this, which I've done it for years, and what I'm going to show you. We need to transmute that energy. That's yoga. So we're going to take that dissolved energy and transmute it into a very high frequency that you're going to broadcast from your brain. If you were vibrating at a 55 megahertz with anger, we're going to go to 200 megahertz with love, compassion, abundance, and powerfully broadcasted. So how do we do that? If I ask you, Laura, right, would you vibrate at forgiveness and forgive everything in your life right now? She's going to say, look like it. How do I do that? Mike, would you vibrate at prosperity and feel prosperous every part of your being? Sounds good, but how do you do that? You know, it's very difficult. Or would you vibrate unconditional love to all New Yorkers? It's going to be tough, right? Because with our minds, we can't get there. It's impossible. It's higher than our minds. So we're going to use a technique that I'm going to share with you. Now that you feel good, we're going to call it a manifesting recipe. We're going to use the law of attraction, the law of magnetism. In order to manifest something, what's the first thing you need to know? What do you want? Of course, what do you want? That's perfectly. After you know what you want, what else?
Be clear, I mean, be precise.
How to get there, how to.
Yes.
Be clear, be precise, be like, I'm looking for a word, but no.
Be in the feeling of the...
Be in the feeling means if you want something, you have to hold that intention, right? And third is you have to hold it until manifest. If I want those pair of shoes, all right, so I'm going to get those pair of shoes. I have a party tonight. I get up in the morning. I know exactly what those pair of shoes are and what store and the price. I know exactly. So I get up in the morning. I gotta get those pair of shoes. It's strong enough. I know exactly what I want. And not strong enough that makes me go to get out of bed. And I go to my car or to a cab here and or walk. And I know where to get. I'm going there, right? So first I know exactly what I want. Then I take action. Means I focused on that. Make sense? Now I have to focus until when?
You buy them.
Until I buy them. If I'm walking there and somebody texts me, hey, let's go get some coffee or something and go watch a movie. Well, sounds good. Let's go over there. I never get the shoes, right? It's very simple. I know what I want. I focus. I follow until I get it. And I get it. That makes sense? If I want prosperity, What do I have to do? I know exactly how I vibrate. I vibrate with intensity, and I hold that thought until I get it. Make sense? If I'm working on a project, do a school for instance, I know exactly what I want, I hold that thought with intensity until I get it. Powerful people, people who are great manifestors, they have this technique down like this. They know what they want, they hold it, and they hold it, and they get it, and they block everything out of it until they get it. Make sense? All right. So, the manifesting recipe, we have to know the exact frequency. We're talking about science now. We have to broadcast exact frequency. All right? We're going to broadcast it with intensity. Right? And we're going to hold that broadcast until it manifests. Make sense? How do we do that? First of all, we clear the negative stuff. That was the first step. Now we're going to take that energy that we clear, and we're going to use that energy and add to more energy to broadcast powerfully. So instead of broadcasting with 10% of our brain, we're going to broadcast it with 100% of our energy that we have. Because it's just clear. So how do we do that? The exact frequency. Let's talk a little bit about the exact frequency. The frequency for this to work, it has to be what I call it a noble frequency. I don't know another word to do it, but it's a high frequency. Noble meaning something that is in your highest interest, is in the highest interest of others, and is in tune with a greater good, with a cosmic plan. In other words, if I want to create a healing center, for instance, I'm going to vibrate at a frequency which is going to bring the highest good for me, the highest good for all those concerned, and in tune with a cosmic plan. So like if God was up there saying, yeah, well done, right? Okay, so that's how, then the genie is going to, we'll talk later, is going to hold that frequency in my brain, protected from everything, as long as I am awake. That's why I have to do it every morning. Okay? So exact frequency. So let's talk for exact frequency right now. I'm going to use a technique that I designed from everything I learned. Okay? That is going to include essential oils, aromatherapy, quantum physics, and yoga. So let me talk a little bit about essential oils. Who knows about essential oils? So raise your hand. Well, most of you. All right. Who doesn't know about essential oils? All right, very good. Okay. So essential oils, I'm going to be quick on this. It's the essence of the plant of the tree. It's the concentration. It's about 1,000 to 1. There are some oils that are very good. A few brands are very good. You might not be finding them in the store. They're absolutely pure, nothing 100%. They're also very potent. 1 drop of rose oil is made from 12 rosebuds. Okay? It takes 9 tons of eucalyptus leaves to produce 5 liters of oil. Extremely concentrated, mind-blowing. They're very potent. 1 drop of peppermint oil equals to 30 cups of peppermint tea. That same power. And I've been using this for 15 years in my healing. Powerful, actually, more in my healing and 20 years as an individual. But there's one brand and only one brand only that I know that's actually been tested, which also has what's called electrical frequency. Who knows about electrical frequency of oil? Raise your hands. You heard about it. I'm going to show you something that you will not have heard before. I'm going to show you how to use the electrical frequency of the essential oils within this method to raise your consciousness to a different level of consciousness, which we call it soul consciousness or super consciousness. How do you like that? You heard of that before? No, right? Yeah. There's a lot of aromatherapy in the world. They're very good. You know, they take oil, they smell good. I've done healing with physical healing with oils for years. But this electrical frequency, it's new. It's within this method, and it works, and it's really what can change your consciousness in minutes. And we're going to all experience that today. So let's talk a little bit about the frequency of the oils. They measure the frequency of the human body goes between 62 to 78 megahertz, basically. The head, the neck above the head is 72 to 78. They say when the frequency of the human body drops to 60 megahertz, your immune system starts going down. When you hit 58, you catch a cold. The cold virus is at 58 megahertz. Welcome back, Mike. Being a long summer, waiting for you, and you're waiting for you, okay. So you're down to 58. You're back here. You got a cold. You're going to be with me. I'm going to be with you for at least a week. All right. If you do everything else, it's going to be only 7 days. All right. So that's the frequency. They also measure the frequency of processed and canned foods, and it's 0 megahertz. There's no light there. Fresh produce and fruits go up to 15 megahertz. You have a fresh organic fruit, it raises your frequency, correct? The highest they found was fresh herbs, fresh herbs, 20 to 27 megahertz. You have a fresh organic salad, what happens? You feel good. Well, they measure the frequency of the young living essential oils, and I say only because they measure the other ones and they don't have it. They have a frequency between 50 megahertz to 320 megahertz. I'm from Ecuador. I've been to the largest young living farm in Ecuador. Dr. Young lived there for 5 years. I was there for 3 years. I know how they distill the oils, and it's a mind-blowing. It's like a mad science. Dr. Young is a mad scientist. He does thousands and thousands of tests over 4 years period, thousands and thousands of hours, just to find out how he needs to distill that plant to get the electrical frequency. It's mind-blowing. When he told me, I said, I can't believe you do that. I would do it for $1 million. But he doesn't. Because that's
The
his
time
mission.
of day, I've gone distilling with him. Time of day, like it's like trying the time of day that's the perfect time to
Yeah,
cut
the
it.
month of the year,
It's
the time of the day, the time of the
Right.
day. Once you pick it up, how long you put it before you put it in the boiler,
The-
how many hours you boiled it, when you turn the boil this way or that way. It's all unbelievable. It's just mind-blowing. But he keeps the electrical frequency. Now that frequency, you've heard of that frequency, right? Okay, now I'm going to tell you about that. Now that frequency is probably you have the rose oil vibrates at 320, some of the oils between like lavender, peppermint, some others different frequencies. They also create what's called blends. They have blends like forgiveness, joy, and some other oils that have certain frequencies. The blend is just a mixture of pure oils which gives you a certain frequency. Now when I said forgiveness 192, well, that sounds good. It matches the range of frequency your brain puts out when you're feeling forgiving. Joy, it matches the frequency your brain puts out when you're feeling joyful. So when I asked you to vibrate at prosperity, you said, I don't know how to do it. Forgive everybody in your life. Say, well, how do I do that? But if I infuse your brain with that frequency, where every cell in your being is vibrating with that frequency, will it be easier to forgive? It's not easy, it's a default thing, right? Very easy. So we're going to use the frequency of the oils to make your being vibrate at a certain given frequency very powerfully. We're going to use these oils, this frequency of these oils. You just heard something you didn't know, right? And we're going to make our brain broadcast at a very high frequency. So we're going to now broadcast that we have an oil called, I think, joy, which is the frequency the brain puts out when it's feeling joyful. But you can get up and help that part of it. So how do we do that? I'm going to show you a technique that put together from everything I know. I'm using yoga, quantum physics, and aromatherapy right now. It works when you first clear the ground. You don't want to do it if you haven't cleared the ground because you're going to be broadcasting some different mix of stuff. Okay. So we're going to use, we're going to put 1 drop of oil on the left hand, which is the receiving hand, the hand of the heart. We're going to activate that oil with the fingers of our right hand clockwise. Go like this, clockwise. Go counterclockwise. Counterclockwise now. The other way, counterclockwise, yeah. How does it feel?
I like clockwise.
Clockwise, yeah. You see, when you have some boys and girls having some tea, or put some honey or some sugar, watch how they stir the cup. The girls, if they're happy, they go, yes, let's go shopping. The guys, man, I gotta go beat that guy, So So because one way it's activated, you are in this side of the brain, the other is you're on this side of the brain. So when we do this, we're actually activating this side of the brain. We say, wake up, wake up, wake up. The forgiving, the loving, the creative side of the brain. So that's what we do that 3 times is enough. Then we touch the fingers. We can touch right here, right in the middle of the chest, the heart center, the chakra, under the nose, third eye, and medulla oblongata at the back, which is called where the spine ends, the point where the energy enters the body. The oil will penetrate within 30 seconds into the bloodstream. We go like this with the hands like this, just a few times to get the oil all over our hands. Now that all looks like aromatherapy. Now we're going to go into yoga, in quantum physics. We're going to inhale through the nose, like this, and exhale through the mouth. Longer and deeply, with the oil. We'll do it in a minute. Why? Many miracles are going to happen right here. First of all, the hypothalamus gland and amygdala gland, which are behind the pineal gland, are the ones that hold the emotions and all the traumas in us. It's called the emotional brain. You don't make a decision unless you got something went through the gland, some emotion went through the gland, then you make a decision. It's faster. So we're going to, normally those glands are activated with the different feelings or emotions we're having. We are sending that frequency through the gland. Now that gland can be activated not by sound, not by talking to a psychologist, not by looking at a beautiful sunset, only by the smell, and it's almost instant. That's aromatherapy says so. So we're going to do that. That's one thing. We're flooding our gland with the frequency of the oil. Second, this particular oil, because of their frequency, have the ability to penetrate the brain barriers. It actually activates the glands in your brain. You want to keep using 10% of your brain, or you want to use more of your brain? All right?
So do you give an individual different oil for each person, or there's one joy that's for everybody?
We can use it. As we work, we say maybe use this transformation for whatever different oils at different times. Yeah, with different things. We'll see on the process. So we want to use 10% of the brain. You want to use like even 12% of your brain. Would be fantastic. What about 15%? All right. We're activating our brain with that frequency. You don't want to fill the brain with anger, do you? You want to fill it with something high. So we're breaking the brain barriers, activating the brain. Then the other thing, which is also miraculous, and I've done testing with labs in San Diego, it's as you breathe deeply the oil, the frequency will penetrate your bloodstream, and this miracle will happen, which is really yoga. It's going to oxygenate your blood and decarbonize the blood. So it's going to cleanse the blood and put more oxygen into the blood. That's the job of the heart. Any doctors here? Right? Yes. So as the blood is being decarbonized and oxygenated, the heart says, oh my God, somebody's doing my job. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to take a pause there. I'm not going to do anything. So the heart is ready to go to rest. Because somebody's doing the job. So that's the thing. We clean the blood, we break the brain barriers, we flood our brain with a frequency. 3 things. However, none of it is good if you have a free choice, don't allow it. Make sense? Your mind has to get engaged in it too. So we visualize, that's quantum physics now. We visualize this tremendous healing light that comes into our brain and goes into our heart. And then as we exhale, we expand. Then our torso exhale, expanded. Our body exhale, expand. Every cell of our body begins to expand. We bring it through the brain, which actually comes through the brain, and expand, 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 expand. Let me see, I think it's... The Earth's magnetic resonance vibrates at the same frequency as our heart rhythm and brain waves. So we are going to actually tune in with the Earth's frequency. Our heart and our brain, we're going to become one with it. So we can visualize, expand, expand, expand. We're going to do it with joy, with the light of joy, with joy, with joy, with joy. First our bodies, our surroundings, New York City, New York State, United States, the whole world. We visualize it. The whole universe if you want to. Quantum physics says that you see nothing outside that you're not programmed to see inside. You can't see anything, you can't recognize anything outside that you're not already programmed to see. That's what different people see different things in the same exact situation. Each of us is seeing different things right now in this room, according to the way you're programmed. So, if everything we see outside, we're programmed to see inside, then as we do this, we are reprogramming the brain the way we see the universe with joy. We are creating new mental groups in our brain. So if we go everywhere, well, then we're going to visualize just joy, 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 joy. You visualize going through the day with joy, meeting people with joy, flood them with that joy of you being everything situation you like. And then at the end, we will just take our hands and go like this, and drop our hands to our lap, and stop controlling the breath. And that's when the real thing happens. As we do that, you stop controlling the breath, you stay very quietly, you will feel within seconds, maybe, that there's no need to breathe. Like the breath is very shallow, there's no need to breathe, the heart is not pumping. And it's okay, you won't die. So what happened there, remember that we said that when you cleanse your blood, the heart slows down. When the heart slows down, the muscles relax. That's all yoga. When the muscles relax, because we're putting a noble intention of joy, and we have our glands activated, the energy gets pulled from our muscles into our brain, and that's where you go into this breathless state. When you go into this state, we'll stay there for several minutes, you will feel just this sensation here, but you may not feel the body anymore. Very light. You feel this joy, 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 joy here. Now the Bible says, when be still and know that I am God. Yoga says, when motion ceases, the spirit begins to manifest. When the motion of the body, the minds, and the emotions, which is really hard to stop, it's almost impossible, ceases, when the breath comes down, you begin to feel who you really are. You are actually in soul consciousness. You begin to tap into soul, you go into super consciousness. We'll stay there for a few minutes, and then we'll start doing an affirmation to reprogram our brain, okay? Are we good with that?
Ready.
Okay.
Ready.